Does anyone know where you are right now? But get out there, do stuff, guys, do stuff. It's the best. I'm actually proud to share with you that I have actually run the Los Angeles Marathon 5 years in a row, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And for me personally, the hardest thing about running 5 marathons is slipping it into every conversation. Because a lot of times, no one's even talking about marathons. You just have to find a way, hover around the conversation pod, okay? Look for your moment, pick your shots, dovetail it. You gotta make it feel organic, everybody. Oh, your grandma just had a birthday? You know, I bet she's the picture of health. You know, I was the picture of health when I ran 5 marathons. Also, please note, I did not say that I have completed 5 marathons. Run and completed, they're 2 different words. Here's what happened. Here's the short version of the story. I ran the first one, and then I had to run the third one because of what happened the second one. Second one, I was at mile 25 and a half. I was 10 blocks from the finish line. I was feeling good. That is when I had a heat stroke. I blacked out, and I woke up in the back of an ambulance. And I swear to you tonight, dry bar comedy show, when I woke up, I thought I was being kidnapped. I don't know if anyone has had that experience before. All I knew, I was running, I was feeling good. I didn't have the pinhole. I didn't have the woozy thing. It went from running to nothing. And when I woke up, I was flat on my back. I was obviously being driven somewhere. And this dude that I did not know, dressed in all dark clothing, was hovering a foot above my face. Hey, buddy. Looks like you're finally coming to. Welcome back. And I had never had this epiphany before until I was in this moment. But when people are trying to help you and people are trying to hurt you, they really say a lot of the same things. Just try and relax. Everything's gonna be just fine. Does anyone know where you are right now? I'm gonna have to cut your clothes off. And that's what they did. They took the scissors, they cut my clothes off. They brought me into the ER. I had a core temperature of 104 degrees. My organs were stewing inside my body like a crock pot. So in order to bring my temperature down, they gave me 4 liters of iced saline that gave me the kind of diarrhea that made a medical professional say, "Oh boy." She worked in the emergency room, and she was horrified. It felt like she had seen less messy gunshot wounds. Quick side note to that story. The next time, if and when you do run a marathon and they have that emergency contact information on the back of your bib, go ahead and fill that out. Because while all this was happening, my wife was waiting at the finish line with flowers. So finally she got me, and I didn't have the strength to say much of anything, but she brought her ear really close to my mouth, and all I could muster was, "They were trying to take me away." So after 8 hours in the emergency room, they were ready to discharge me. And I don't know if anyone here has run 25 and a half miles and laid flat on your back for 8 hours, but I needed to demonstrate to the doctor that I had the ability to walk. But when I got off the table, I had the legs of a newborn colt. It just, I don't know if you saw Bambi on the ice. It's just, I felt like Snoop Dogg. I was like crip walking. Yeah, oh yeah. So we're in the car. She's driving me home, and I'm reviewing my discharge paperwork. And that is when I found my favorite part of this whole story. Apparently, according to the incident report that was filled out by the ambulance crew, at some point during the ride to the hospital, I became, quote, combative. I ripped the tubes out of my arms and I tried to overpower my captors. Fortunately, I failed. I was sedated and subdued. But most people don't know how they're going to react during that fight or flight moment. I do. So I sleep great every night knowing that if my life is ever on the line, be it real or imagined, I'm not going out like a punk. And that feels great, everybody. It really does. Really does. Thank you. Thank you. Utah. We're doing it, everybody. Amazing. I am Matt Knudsen. I'm ecstatic to be here. And I like to ask this at every show because I think these people deserve some special recognition. I see a lot of couples here tonight. By applause, is there anyone here tonight on a last date? Okay, I see someone applauding over there. Okay. Some of you did not applaud, which means others of you do not know that this is your last date. So enjoy your night, everyone. I also see some people that maybe got a babysitter to be here tonight. Thank you for that. Awesome. See some people that maybe have their kid in the car with the window cracked. However you guys became a crowd, you became a crowd. I appreciate that. I am happy to be here. To be honest, I kind of feel like I'm a token booking, because I think they just flew me out to Utah because I look like a Mormon. I have reflective surfaces in my house, everyone. I'm aware of what this is. Is he a Mormon? Well, he was on Big Love on HBO. Good enough. Get him out here. I want to be in the Knudsen business. Just for the record, the Knudsen business is not a real thing, everybody. But I do appreciate that. No, I'm not a Mormon. I actually come from a long line of conservative Scandinavian Lutherans. Mm-hmm. How conservative? Well, I will say this. It's getting kind of late is actually on my family crest. But I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate you guys unplugging, if only for an hour, to spend it here with me. It means a lot. Thank you for putting your smartphone away and becoming smart people. I'm proud of you. Also, too, we're just getting started. I'd like to thank you for trying to initiate that applause break. And this is more of a tutorial primer for the rest of the crowd. If anyone starts to clap in your vicinity, go ahead and join them. Thank you. Hey! Okay, now that feels gratuitous. I'll still take it, though. I'll still take it. Gratuitous applause. I don't even know the difference, but I will take it. So thank you. Yeah. You guys put down your smartphones. We're so plugged in all the time. You just look around, people standing on the corner. It's like, no one's trying to get a hold of you. But it's interesting, it makes it so easy to stay in touch with each other. Sometimes we stay in touch when we don't even mean to. We've all received at least one pocket dial. And you pick it up and it's just your friend eating lunch. Hello? Yeah, let me get a tuna melt. Jeff? Pickled chips. Jeff, hello. Give me a drink, make it a combo. Jeff? Huh? And through no choice of your own, Jeff has turned you into a creepy eavesdropper. Well, I suppose I can listen for a few minutes. He may talk about me. My favorite in all of this phenomenon is the pocket dial voicemail. And even though we realize within 5 seconds that it is a pocket dial voicemail, you still listen to the whole thing. Never can tell when the pertinent information could arise. Mr. Knudsen, this is Dr. Phelps. You have cancer. Oh, no. Glad I listened to all 20 minutes. This is the worst day of my life. Yeah. But there's one thing I am grateful for with smartphones. It's the GPS. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to what's happening in society right now, but we are no longer lost. You never need to ask a stranger for directions. Never really been a big fan of that phenomenon, right? Because you're lost. Basically, when you reach out to a stranger, you're weak. You're vulnerable. You're willing to believe anything. Basically, asking a stranger for directions is saying, excuse me, random person, we've never met. But I'm willing to do what you tell me for the next 2 hours or so. So be cool, huh? Be cool. Yeah. And you always know the quality of the directions you're about to receive by the face the person makes right after you ask. Excuse me, sir, could you tell me how to get to the art gallery? The art gallery? But Well, you started the conversation. You can't just, you know what, never mind. No, where are you going? I know where it is. Okay, all right. My favorite is the people that will use their hands to somehow maximize the comprehension of their directions. Oh, the art gallery. Well, that's on the corner of Maple and 3rd. Okay, here's Maple. Okay. And then here's 3rd. It's at the corner of Maple and 3rd, right? I'm sorry. I'm not from around here. Could I see your hands again? Maple and 3rd, yes. I'll just look for the giant class ring. Thank you. Maple and 3rd, amazing. But I'm happy to be here. I'm actually married, everyone. I'm married. Thank you very much. But ladies, I promise you, if I was not, I would disappoint you in ways you can only imagine. Yeah, but things are good, happily married. The wife and I just bought a new Tempur-Pedic mattress recently. Yeah, because she likes to drink wine in bed. And I love to jump up and down. It used to be a huge problem. But not anymore, thank goodness. Marriage is about compromise, am I right, Provo? Yeah. I did spend 2 months' salary on my wife's engagement ring. I did. Only I chose 2 months from 1986. I was mowing lawns between 7th and 8th grade. It was a great summer. Best $87 I ever made. Yeah. No, but that's it. You know, there's just so much disparity. You know, a woman's ring, thousands of dollars. Man's ring, dozens of dollars. This is actually forged from the lid of a Jiffy Pop. Right? Yeah. But I'm very happily married, and guys, I'm here to tell you the key to any successful relationship, at least according to my wife's diary, is trust. If you don't have that, you don't have anything, right? I don't have any children. Instead, I have free time and money. Kids are great. I love kids. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But in the meantime, I don't think there's anything wrong with making the world a better place for yourself, right? Yeah, no kids. And I don't want to stand up here and brag about money. I think that's kind of gauche. But I will say this. I'm not rich, but I don't bother trying to open stubborn pistachios. And that's how things are going, everybody. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah. But it's just, you know, like I said, no kids. It's just me and the wife. It's just me and Mrs. Knudsen. And yet, when she goes to do something, she will still leave me a note and sign it. As if I would someday come home, find this unsigned note. Who in the world went to the grocery store? Why would somebody break into my apartment and leave me their itinerary? Doesn't make any sense at all. Yes, hello, 911. I had a break-in, but good news, I have some promising leads. The crook is either at Albertsons or picking up flowers for my mom. All units move in. The easiest case you'll ever crack. Yeah, but it's just me and the wife. That said, she is first-generation American. Her mother immigrated to America from Hungary. And so as such, I have uncles and aunts and cousins that all live in Hungary. And you hear the term American standard of living so often, it's almost lost all its meaning. But what that really means is that if you think about people in the Eastern Bloc, they make about $200 a week at their jobs. But that ends up to about $10,000 a year. But they're very loving, they're familial, they're great people. But recently, my family had never even left their village in Hungary, visited me in America, in Southern California. And if you ever want to feel like a self-entitled American jerk, try sitting on the couch next to your Hungarian cousin, watching American television when a Cash for Gold commercial comes on. Tired of all your unwanted gold? Has your excessive wealth become a burden? Can't sleep without being punctured by a scepter? Give us a call, we're the Gold Guys. Cousin Matt, my English not so good. Unwanted gold? Yeah, Milos. Sometimes Americans we have too much gold. Too much gold means well it well, it's not too much gold. I mean, it's gold that we don't want anymore. Because of curse, not because of a curse. No. None of the gold is cursed. It's just in a drawer getting tangled. Which is kind of a curse. Yeah. But I get it. I know what it's like to be a fish out of water. Actually, my family moved to California from North Dakota. And thank you for giving North Dakota the quiet reverence that I think it has earned. Absolutely no response was the response. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think I saw two people look over. You gonna clap? Nah, me neither. North Dakota. Yeah. And hey, listen, don't get me wrong. The people are great. But last winter, and people ask me if I miss the seasons. I don't. Last winter in North Dakota, it was minus 36 degrees. That is colder than outer space. I don't miss that. In fact, I think they could combine North and South Dakota into one state and call it Yeah, but I live in Los Angeles now. I like it. I do have to admit, I think it would be a lot easier to get around the city if like 1 million people gave up on their dreams. It's one of those kinds of cities, you know? Yeah. But I don't really know how to relate to a lot of people sometimes. Because actually, Southern California is the first and only place I've ever been to in my entire life where people will use their astrological sign as an excuse for their behavior. Hey, sorry I trashed your apartment. I'm a Leo. And Mercury's in retrograde, you know what I mean? And you want to be nice, you kind of have to try and pretend you understand. Yeah, I know what you mean. My credence is in Clearwater. I feel a bad moon rising, so. Don't go round tonight? Yeah, but it does have its cool things, actually. I recently saw Bob Dylan at the Hollywood Bowl. That was a great show. And thank you for giving Bob Dylan the quiet reverence that he... Yeah, I did see Bob Dylan at the Hollywood Bowl. It was a great show. It was a great show, and I'm not making this up. He actually had a woman that was downstage doing sign language along with all of his songs, right? And not only was it very touching to watch, but I also enjoyed the irony that only the deaf people had any idea what Dylan was saying. Rest of us had no clue. Is that Mr. Tambourine Man? No, he's just clearing his throat. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, but life is good. I enjoy exploring new cities like this, spending time with new people. It's very cool. One of my favorite things after doing shows is talking to people. And here's the thing, guys. Say yes to as many things as you can. Always try something new because you never know what's going to happen. It could be great, but it only has a chance to be great if you give it a shot, right? So, thank you. I truly believe that. I really, really do. I was talking to a woman after a show one night, and she's like, well, you know, I really admire what you do, stand-up comedy. You know, I've always wanted to try stand-up comedy, but aren't you afraid that people will throw rotten tomatoes at you? And no, I'm not, because I don't perform in 20s vaudeville. Also, I would say this to anyone who ever tries stand-up comedy. If someone throws rotten tomatoes at you, I wouldn't even take it that badly. Because if you deconstruct what's happened, if someone brings rotten tomatoes to a show and has them at the ready, the instant they become dissatisfied, you're probably dealing with a pretty picky person. I would be devastated, however, if I was tomatoed an hour after my show. Because that person went to the store. Where's that North Dakota guy? I got something for him. What happens to us when we go into a buffet? What happens to our sense of decency and restraint? What happens to our judgment? The next time you find yourself dining at a buffet-style restaurant, when you sit down with that tray of food that you've assembled for your meal, just imagine if you had to order that meal off the menu. Say out loud to a waitress who's writing it down. Well, I had a chance to look at the menu and I've come to a decision. On the first plate, I'm gonna have a skirt steak, a pork chop, and some spaghetti. And on the second plate, I'm gonna have some chicken nuggets in the shape of little dinosaurs, a handful of raisins, and some pepperoni pizza. Then on the third plate, why don't you give me as many ribs as you can fit on it? Might I recommend stacking them in a log cabin style? And to drink, some chocolate milk, a mimosa, and 19 Mountain Dews. I've also had a chance to look at the dessert menu. And I'm gonna say yes. Yes. Then, in about 20 minutes, no matter how full I look, no matter how disgusted I appear to be with myself, I want you to bring me a taco shell full of ham cubes. But don't worry, I'm only gonna take one bite out of that, and I'm gonna realize instantly that it was a terrible idea. Guys, there's a special friend I always like to bring on the road with me. If you could just bear with me for a second. Are the wind beneath my wings. God, without you, I'm nothing. Oh, I really appreciate that. I have had a wonderful time. You guys have been a wonderful crowd, and we'll just hit it, boys. I just remembered, I don't have boys. Guess I'll just have to hit it myself, huh? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that energy. And guys, I realize I'm not the funniest or the best looking or even the hardest working comedian. That's it. That's the whole announcement. But it wasn't always the piano for me, everyone. I used to be in a bagpipe cover band. Covered all the bagpipe hits. Amazing Grace, Danny Boy. But I had a hard time finding gigs for the band because I grew up in a small town and not a lot of firemen died. I do know show business is not for everyone. I actually have a friend that is a terrible magician. And I know he's a terrible magician because I've never had a professional magician ever ask me to, quote, close my eyes for a second. I miss my grandfather. I'm not gonna lie, guys. A big influence on me. I remember when I was a kid, my grandpa and I used to play a lot of board games together. Until he turned 81. And then he was no longer in the age range. We always liked Monopoly. And my favorite part of Monopoly, the game is only made by one company. But you can have fun for free. Try this. I like to use the expression, no pun intended, when there isn't even the slightest chance that a pun could be intended. Well, my birthday is January 28th. No pun intended. Because then people have to revisit what I said like they missed something. And also, they know my birthday. I love using similes. To me, using a simile is like a breath of fresh air. Just like to point out, there's a woman sitting in the second row. When I said that, she just shook her head. I was with you for most of it, but that simile joke is a bridge too far. I like to put on hot underwear right out of the dryer. But somebody at the laundromat always calls the cops. But the future is not without its dangers, right? For example, there are nitrates in our lunch meat. You know that, right? And they're not good for your kids. And my dog told me they can actually make you hallucinate. Deodorant contains aluminum. I don't know if you knew that or not, and it has been shown to raise your risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. So it feels like your options are you can use the deodorant or have the ability to remember your lifetime of smelling awful. Because it's not going to last forever, is it? Life doesn't work out that way. That's why I left some very specific instructions for my wife when I pass away. I told her I don't want to be cremated, but I still want to be scattered over Venice Beach. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for the support. Everyone here and everyone watching at home, I'm Matt Knudsen. God bless. Good night.